Hello, my name is Angie, and you may or may not remember me. I had the YouTube channel Angie'sjunglehouse. So this really isn't Angie'sjunglehouse anymore, but I'm still plant related, so there's that. Lots of changes in life. So I'd like to make a little video diary of my garden this year. I did last year, like a physical diary, and I didn't follow it so well. So I think I'm going to try a page out of the Roots and Refuge book, whom I've taken a lot of advice from for the container gardening and raised beds. This is my first year doing anything like this. So I've gotten a lot of help on YouTube. I've made a lot of mistakes. I can see already, and it's July 4th. So I'm going to give like just a little brief background. I'm not a stranger to gardening. My parents have a pretty nice vegetable garden in Zone 4B, sandy loamy soil. We grow in ground. Now I live in Zone 5A, and my soil is clay, just freaking clay. And it's really hard to work with. I've grown some stuff in ground here, but it's challenging, and the pests are just ridiculous. So I have it's about a quarter acre in a city on an island. So my lot's not very big. So I want a beautiful place to sit and relax, but I also would like to grow some food. So I'm going to be kind of looking a little bit more into potager gardening. So, but that's like another page from the book. Right now I'm just growing food. So, my container gardens. So I'm going to take you guys for a little tour. For anybody that wants to follow along, that was just a little backstory. But Nick is chilling with me. If there's my neighbor's getting on his bike to leave, and I have a feeling Will's going to start barking again, and he has the most monotone bark, and he plays it on repeat. It's enough to make anybody's blood boil. So I might have to cut the frame here, but I'm gonna start. Yep, here we go. All right, I'm gonna give like a quick pan of the corner of the garden where my vegetables reside. Hi, Meeks. So these are 3 4x10 raised beds. They're a foot tall. Then over there you really can't see, but there are containers in the driveway, and we're going to go over there and we're going to see those later. So first 4x10, I have sun sugar tomatoes, and I think they're called Betty or Betsy tomatoes. They're just ones that I picked up. I didn't start them from seed. I just grabbed them this year. Throwing in these gardens was literally like a last minute decision. I was doing more planning and thinking more about it, and I was gonna make a better go of it in 2 years, but with inflation I had to throw in my gardens this year, just at least try. I don't think for it being put together so hurriedly, because I built and installed everything this year, so it was a pretty hurried decision. But I also have put in irrigation to my flower beds. So there's that. I do have some help here. So here I have jalapenos planted in between my potatoes. I will not be planting this many potatoes. I'm thinking maybe like half the garden potatoes, and then the other half for other things, or even like the front half potatoes, and plant the back half with like pea pods or something. I don't know. But so there's that idea. I'd like to do pea pods back there because I think that would be a very good place to plant them. They don't grow that tall. I think just straight on the chain link would be all right. So these are baby reds, and then the rest are Yukon. No, russet. I planted russet potatoes this year. So russets. They exploded and they look great. So we're gonna see what the potatoes look like. I will not be planting tomatoes here. Those are gonna be I'm completely growing tomatoes in containers for now on. I do thoroughly like that. But these sugar bush are gigantic mothers. Look at these. My God. I'm going to have to tie this up. Like, it's escaped. I think this might be an indeterminate type tomato. I don't know. I'll find out. But they're huge. I have like 2 of these, I believe. One's in the driveway. So with my perennial garden plant, perennial food. So I have my rhubarb here, which I transplanted, but I left some in its old location just in case that didn't do well. This gets more sun here. Then I also have 3 varieties of grapes. I have Concord for wine, and I have a green and a purple table grape planted all around my property. So I'll probably plant more next year, but we'll see what makes it and how many I need to plant, yada yada. So this is the second 4x10 bed. In the corner I have, it's a sugar pie pumpkin. They're small, so I grew them on the trellis this year. We're going to see how they do. I'm sure they'll need some support, which I'm prepared to give. But I have my jalapenos in the corner over here, which I have started harvesting. I've gotten a few. And I have all these bush beans, which I do like to pickle a lot of stuff and can. So I have tons of beans. I will also freeze beans as well. Here I have a couple of acorn squash plants. Acorn squash are one of my favorite winter squashes, along with spaghetti. My mom got me into acorns, and that's literally one of my favorite squashes. Since I was a kid, it's like dessert. And then this is the first year I've ever grown pickles. I didn't literally realize that they are just a bush variety. Like, that's something new to me. In all my experience, pickles climb. Pickles need a trellis. I screwed up. If I do pickle bush next year, those can go in a container. Kale. Kale is also something I might try container planting, to be honest, because it'd make it a lot easier. But also the security of being lower to the ground and easier to cover here. Because you can, I don't know if you know, but if you cover kale, you can harvest it really late into the season, it being in 5A. I can harvest this if we have a mild winter through December. If I keep it covered, protected from freezing. I also have some watermelons, which I don't know how we're doing on those. It doesn't look too promising. If I get a watermelon, they're great. They're just they're yellow doll. So they're little yellow personal watermelons that you can probably eat in about 2 sittings, 1 or 2, depending on how hungry you are. So they're personal watermelons. They don't look like they're doing that great, but I have not grown watermelons in years, so I really don't remember what to expect. I also have more jalapenos and some 4 bell peppers, just regular green bell peppers. Here's the wall of spaghetti squash. This is my other winter squash that I plant. It's one that I thoroughly enjoy. I do actually really like spaghetti squash. So we're going to see how many I get. I might have overplanted spaghetti squash. I might have to plant more acorn, less spaghetti. We're going to see. Next up, I have pole beans. First year I've ever grown pole beans. So I'm going to see how I do on those. That's a test crop. That's why I planted that many bush beans. Because if I can grow pole beans on the trellis and take up less space, I'm going to switch to pole. We're going to see how much I favor them. Here is Swiss chard. I will not be planting this much Swiss chard next year. I guess I kind of overestimated a little bit. I'm the only one who eats it, so it is what it is. I'm probably going to plant maybe a row. I like a taste of Swiss chard, maybe 2. I do not need 3. Pea pods, which I'm only getting enough. I'm getting 2 or 3 a day with this many plants. I'm not getting enough. I'm just getting enough to make a snack. So, and I love pea pods, so steamed in a little butter. So anyways, I have strawberries planted here. I just have enough strawberries planted for a taste. I'm going to let those slowly take over here. I have parsley planted as just a crop for harvest this year. But I mean, I'll obviously get something, so I'll dry some parsley. It is what it is. And then dill, this is, it'll reseed itself, so I just won't plant anything from this half of the garden over. And dill can handle the shade a little bit, so I planted on the inside. Same as lettuce, but I think I'm going to do all the kale, Swiss chard, and lettuce on one side. Do all my garden, like my salad garden, on one side of the trellis. They can handle a slight bit of shade. It does get pretty sunny back here still, regardless. So I do not need this much lettuce next year. I'm thinking maybe like a third of what I have planted, and then do a bunch of kale and then a little bit of Swiss chard at the end. Maybe, and that'll open up the whole front. And then here is where I pulled my rhubarb from, and a chunk of root still in there. So I didn't know if it was going to grow, and it did, so that's cool. So if it gets enough sun back here, that's really awesome. And it can stay back here, so I'll have 2 rhubarb plants. Next year, my thought process on the trellis is to do container gardening with like pumpkins and stuff back here. And I'm thinking try to grow more vertical, less bush. My pickles will definitely not be bush variety next year, I don't believe. But we're going to see. So I have enough to probably put, I'd say solidly, between 15 and 25 gallon pails here. I won't need that many because I'll need we'll see about trellis space and what we have going on. I think 10 is probably going to be sufficient to really grow the trellises full next year. So we are going to, I don't know. I'll give a pan of the yard. Need to burn out my fire pit too. But just gonna give you an overall view. There's my compost heaps. There we go. Okay. That's that, and we're gonna run through the Cattle Beagle Palace. These guys are garden tramplers to the extremes. They have their little potty palace. They do get to go out in the backyard, but it also helps not destroy the yard in the spring when it's real muddy. So, come around here and look at my containers, which I'm pretty happy with my containers this year. I don't know what, I got yellow squash here, and then I have followed by 4 zucchini. I do a lot of zucchini. I will spiralize and freeze it for zucchini noodles. It also makes great chicken food when they explode. So I know people with chickens, so if they get really, really big, chickens love it. I have more of those sugar tomatoes out here, right there. And then I have like cherry tomatoes next. And then I planted, these are jack-o'-lantern pumpkins here. And then these are Cherokee pumpkins. So I really don't know what to expect with the Cherokee. I had those seeds laying around. The jack-o'-lantern pumpkins I do normally grow, that and giant. But I didn't grow giant pumpkins this year, and I don't believe I'll be doing that anymore. Maybe, I don't know, kind of kills off the grass a little bit. I might in that corner of the garden next year. Because it's okay if the grass dies and I won't have it planted full. So, but my idea for the future, my sad bathtub this year, it looked really good last year. I accidentally bought dwarf coleus, so it doesn't really look that good this year. Yeah, I kind of dropped the ball there. But my idea for the container gardens is to span all the way into the corner of the house. Like do the entire fence line here. So I can probably, what do I got here? 2, 4, 6, 8, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. I have 13 pails here. I'd be willing to bet I can get 30 by the end. I have a lead on some 5-gallon pails, so I think I'll be able to get enough to plant that all full and then make enough containers to fill up the trellises next year. Space is key, so I don't need to park right up by the house. I can park down the driveway farther. I have a really long driveway, and I only drive one vehicle at a time, so I mean, don't matter as long as I can get the bike out right. So, but yeah, so that's what it's looking like. And so far I've gotten a very good yield on lettuce and Swiss chard and kale. It's satiated my desire to eat those things. I got thinning out the dill. I have enough to do some pickling early season. For next year I started freezing some so I can pickle my asparagus with real pickle or with real dill next year, because I did it with dill seed and weed, and it'd be nice to just do it with regular dill that I got for nothing. So yeah, I'll do another update, and I'll just I guess I'll title them by the date, and I guess we'll just kind of take quicker tours and kind of see what's doing what and what I'm happy with and what I'm not. So thanks for tuning in, and I guess Willie! He plays that bark on repeat, and it's just monotone. It's horrible. So anyways, so I guess I might do more tours. I plan on it. I'd like to be able to just watch these and kind of see, and then I can actually like visually see what my qualms were, because I made some mistakes this year, and like I've made journals with the perennial garden, and like I look at it in the spring and I'm like, well, I don't know what's going on. Just have to wait till everything comes up, so then I'm like in a vicious cycle of forgetting and not being able to figure out what the hell I'm talking about. So I don't know. I'm just gonna, hopefully this helps. We'll see. If I keep doing it, apparently it does. We'll find out next year.